Onguard was one of our earliest blends. It was created through the combined experience of our wellness advocates, along with research conducted on the individual oils. It was formulated for a very specific purpose, and there has been a mountain of anecdotal evidence pointing to its effects. That made us really excited to have the chance to scientifically validate the results that people kept telling us they were having with the oil. We did our very first research project with Onguard in 2010, and it has been actively studied since then. So we're looking at 10 years of research at this point. Today, I'm going to share some of that research with you, specifically a groundbreaking study we conducted in 2014. But in order to understand these scientific results about Onguard, I need to talk a little bit about epigenetics. I promise this is relevant. Imagine that there were switches in your DNA that told your cells to do certain things and to stop doing others. These switches can be toggled based on what your body needs or how it can adapt to its environment. This is the concept behind epigenetics. On a very high level, it is the study of how lifestyle factors affect which genes are expressed and to what degree. It's not a change in your DNA, just what instructions your DNA gives your body. This means that the things you eat, the products you use, and maybe even the things you think all play into how your genes behave. And maybe even more exciting, research leads us to believe that this gene expression can be passed on to your children. Big picture, the things you do today change how your newborn baby's DNA is expressed and how your DNA is expressed. The implications of this are enormous. So what do essential oils have to do with epigenetics? You might be wondering if I'm about to tell you that essential oils can flip switches in your DNA. Maybe I am. I'm excited to talk for a few minutes about a study that really opened our eyes to how essential oils interact with cells on a biochemical level. And hopefully by the end, you'll feel as excited as I do about the connection between essential oils and epigenetics. First, let me give you a little background on the doTERRA BioSeq study. This was a large in vitro study, meaning we were looking at cells growing in petri dishes. While this doesn't show us exactly what might be going on inside a human body, this type of study is absolutely critical. What it really comes down to is this. If we want to do studies on humans so we can show the efficacy of essential oils, we need to have evidence that it's going to work. So, back in 2014, we took about 20 doTERRA essential oils and blends and began looking for biochemical information on how these essential oils work down on a cellular level. We spent most of 2016 on intense analysis of the results, and then we published our research in 2017. There was so much information that we learned from this one study. I'm still looking at the research 6 years later. Good science takes years of research, study, and application. And what we've learned really gives us a good foundation for future studies. So, let's jump into the actual study. Now, this study was special in a lot of ways. BioSeq discovered a way to grow multiple types of cells together. This is incredibly important because having multiple cell types together more closely mimics what you'd find in a complex organism, like a human. This makes the study much more informative than just testing on a single type of cell in a petri dish. Having the cells growing together allows them to interact with each other. We were then able to look at the interaction, as well as how the whole environment and the interaction changes when an essential oil is introduced. I mentioned that this study was special. It was also groundbreaking. Having these multiple cell types together is a step between single cells in a petri dish and an actual organism. We have a lot more control, which helps us see exactly what's happening down on that cellular level. And because doTERRA is committed to not doing our research in animal models, this type of study is one way for us to be able to test essential oils on more complex systems. Altogether, we created 8 different cell systems for testing. Now, when I say a system, I'm talking about groups of different cell types. It's really a complex community of cells, and the cell's behavior changes depending on the other types of cells that are also in the group. Think of it this way. If you put a group of women in a room who are all about the same age, and then introduced, say, a puppy into the room, they would behave very differently than if you put a group of babies and women together and then introduced a puppy. Different types of cells respond in different ways depending on the circumstances. Now, let's say you put a group of women of all different ages together, or women of the same age but different nationalities. You would find different interactions in each case. And this is essentially what we did in the study. Except instead of introducing a puppy, we introduced Onguard. So, one system might be we created a system for growth, or a group of cells whose function was to grow. And another might be an inflammatory system, just depending on what we were trying to study. The reason this is so incredible is that nothing like this has ever been done on this scale before. After we created the cell systems, we stressed them by increasing inflammation. We then introduced doTERRA Onguard into 4 systems so we could see different cellular responses. The thing we wanted to know was whether Onguard would upregulate or downregulate biochemical pathways. In other words, would it switch on or switch off the cell's responses? What happened next was remarkable. Onguard showed multiple activities on a cellular level. It was supportive of cellular health. It helped cells regain balance after being stressed. It helped a cell get back to its non-stressed state. This is where epigenetics comes in. Onguard showed downregulation of pathways that had been overstimulated, and it showed upregulation of pathways that had been suppressed. What this means is that Onguard actually turned up expression of genes that encouraged healthy functions, such as growth, metabolism, and communication. But it also turned down the genes that were associated with unhealthy states, like unbalanced division and overstimulation. It switched on genes that encouraged good responses and switched off or turned down the volume of genes that encouraged negative responses. Think of it like this. Imagine a symphony where the trumpets were way too loud, the violins were out of tune, and the flutes were playing much too quietly to hear. That would sound unpleasant and unbalanced, right? Along comes the conductor, helps the violins tune, tells the trumpets to quiet down, and brings up the volume of the flutes. At last, harmony and balance. Onguard, in the case of our cell systems, was an amazing symphony conductor. We saw Onguard do some incredible things in this study. Again, it helped immune balance and regulation, supported a healthy inflammatory response, participated in antioxidant activity, influenced multiple pathways of communication, and balanced cellular function after being stressed. All of this was possible with the power of a pure, natural, essential oil blend. And one of the really neat things we saw was that the blend of Onguard had synergistic behavior. When testing each individual oil from the blend in these same systems, we didn't see the same results. It really was the unique combination of the oils in Onguard that produced these effects. So we've talked about a lot of data, and you may be wondering what the key takeaway from this study is. Well, it's a pretty amazing takeaway. During this study, Onguard demonstrated cellular renewing properties, healthy inflammatory response, and immunomodulation, which is the ability to affect the immune system. What this suggests is that Onguard is so much more than just a blend that supports the immune system. It has many benefits and works on multiple pathways and mechanisms throughout the body. I've spent a lot of time with Onguard as a result of this study, and I have to tell you, it has consistently exceeded my expectations in research. From how it works with the skin to how it interacts on a cellular level. It continues to intrigue and excite me, both as a user and as a scientist. Onguard has been truly impressive at every step. I knew I liked Onguard before the study, but let me just tell you, it has become a staple for me and my family. This amazing study was a crucial step forward in showing the efficacy of essential oils. It was the first study of its kind, and it was evidence of the effect of a complex essential oil blend on a complex cellular system. Onguard showed diverse and complementary actions in supporting healthy cellular functions. And again, while we can't take in vitro work and translate it directly into human benefits, this research opens up new questions and lays a foundation for further studies on immune function and other complex human systems. In fact, some of these studies are already underway, and we can't wait for the results. If any of you are curious and want to learn more, or maybe you're just a science and research nerd like me, you can check out the full study online. There's so much information there. Before I end, I just want to share one last thought about the power of essential oils. This study showed that essential oils can play a role in how genes are expressed. We need to do more research and more study to understand this better. But just the thought that there's a connection between oils and epigenetics is truly astonishing. It's just one more piece of evidence that the gifts of the earth help us take control of our own health and wellness.
immune system running at full capacity isn't a one-and-done deal. Staying strong all season requires us to take care of our bodies from top to bottom. But Onguard isn't the only tool you have. Did you notice how many times nutrition has come up today? Nutrition plays a big role in supporting the immune system. And when it comes to nutrition, there's one product you don't want to miss: the Lifelong Vitality Pack. This is one of our most powerful products and one I use every day. Customers who've tried it keep taking it too. A fun fact about Lifelong Vitality is it's the most reordered product at doTERRA. I used to dread swallowing pills. But when I take Lifelong Vitality, I can concentrate and focus more. I feel better overall. And most importantly, I can actually keep up with my 3 boys under the age of 6, whether we are catching bugs or running to the soccer game. Lifelong Vitality keeps me fueled, and now it's an easy few pills to swallow. Dr. Andrew Goff, an emergency medicine doctor, is here to educate us more about the relationship between nutrition and immunity.
The past few months have been unique. As an emergency physician, I've been working on the front lines. It has been a difficult but incredible time to be a healthcare professional. I see the uncertainty in my patients as they present with worry and fear, wanting to know if they or a loved one are okay, wanting to know what they can do to protect themselves, their children, or their parents. As a physician, I'm in awe of the body's incredible ability to protect and heal itself. There are 2 main elements to the body's immune system: the innate and the adaptive. Innate immunity refers to the immediate defense mechanisms that protect the body. These mechanisms include physical barriers, such as hair, skin, and mucous membranes, as well as immune system cells that attack foreign cells in the body. Adaptive immunity is more complex. Adaptive immunity processes and identifies antigens. Once identified, the adaptive immune system creates specific immune cells to contain and attack that antigen. The adaptive immune system also has a memory that makes future responses against a specific antigen more efficient. I find comfort knowing that there are things that are in my control, that I have the ability to support and strengthen my immune system, to proactively care for my loved ones and my patients. You can support both your innate and adaptive immune system through developing a foundation of health and wellness. Working on the front lines has reinforced my belief that the best healthcare plan is developing a foundation of health through things like diet, exercise, and stress management. The most important factor in promoting optimal immune function is inarguably nutrition, which is why I, as a physician, recommend Lifelong Vitality every day, and why my wife and I consider Lifelong Vitality the most important component of our family's healthcare plan. Nutrition is the foundation of health. The food you eat is broken down into nutrients that the body uses to build cells and tissues. What you eat can affect your health positively or negatively. Good nutrition can help promote overall well-being and support every system in your body. Poor eating, on the other hand, has cumulative effects that contribute to many health challenges and chronic conditions. Unfortunately, research has shown that the standard American diet for many Americans is deficient in several dietary vitamins and minerals that are vital for proper health and immune function. This phenomenon is not isolated to the United States. Although people in developed countries have plenty to eat, they fail to obtain adequate amounts of health and vitality-sustaining phytonutrients, vitamins, and minerals from their diet. People are consuming enough food, enough calories, but are malnourished because they consume foods that lack essential vitamins and minerals. Their stomachs are full, but their bodies are starving. This leads to something called micronutrient deficiency. Micronutrient deficiency is surprisingly prevalent in the developed world, and it can have a negative impact on our health. When our bodies don't receive adequate nutrients, it can lead to poor cellular and body systems function, general fatigue, mood and chemical imbalances, and reduced immune function. Vitamins and minerals perform hundreds of roles in the body. The immune system in particular relies on various micronutrients. This table shows how each of these play a different and vital role in immune function, both innate and adaptive. Research has shown that the average American diet just isn't providing them with adequate amounts of these micronutrients. That's where Lifelong Vitality comes in. Using high-quality supplements is a simple, practical way to help with micronutrient deficiency and should be part of your healthcare plan. On a very basic level, the supplements in Lifelong Vitality provide vitamins and minerals in amounts necessary to meet dietary recommendations, along with other botanical extracts, polyphenols and metabolic cofactors that support proper immune system function. You just saw a list of micronutrients and what they do for your immune system. All of these are present in Lifelong Vitality. This set of products makes taking the first step on the path towards a lifetime of vitality and establishing a foundation of health and wellness convenient and affordable. Our lifelong health and vitality depend on many factors, including diet, physical activity, weight management, rest, stress management, reduced exposure to toxins, and inherited genetic predisposition for wellness. While some of these are beyond our complete control, breakthrough scientific research is revealing many ways which we can influence and even control significant factors of aging and wellness. A long life full of vitality and healthy aging begins with providing your cells with essential nutrients and metabolic factors to help them perform optimally. Microplex VMZ, one of the 3 supplements in Lifelong Vitality, provides 22 essential vitamins and minerals, which helps your immune system on a cellular level. Many of these vitamins and minerals are deficient in a standard American diet, making this supplement crucially important to you on a daily basis. In particular, it contains vitamin C and zinc, which is what my hospital system is recommending right now while we anxiously await more complete treatments. I personally love this supplement. It has high-quality ingredients, plus it uses a patented process that helps the body better absorb the micronutrients. The process is a little bit technical, but the vitamin is introduced to a culture of lactobacillus and yeast. As it grows, the yeast metabolizes and binds the vitamin to its protein matrix. This allows for increased absorption and bioavailability of the vitamin. The chelated minerals in Microplex VMZ are combined with amino acids to form complexes. Again, this is going to allow the body to identify, process, and assimilate the minerals to increase absorption and bioavailability. There are other ingredients included in the mix, including the full spectrum of vitamin E, natural folate from lemon peels, and iodine from kelp. The second product in Lifelong Vitality is Alpha CRX Plus. Alpha CRX Plus contains additional ingredients that support healthy cellular energy production and proper function of the immune system. Let's highlight a few of these ingredients. Various research has shown that resveratrol, green tea polyphenols, bromelain, grape seed extract, pine bark extract, alpha-lipoic acid, coenzyme Q10, and quercetin all support both the innate and the adaptive immune system, and all are contained in Alpha CRX Plus. With all these powerhouses inside, no wonder you can notice a difference. Lastly, we can't forget about our omega fatty acids, which you get from Z-Omega. Fatty acids help support joint, cardiovascular, and brain health, as well as support healthy immune function. Stay tuned on Saturday for more on supporting brain health. A lot of research went into creating Lifelong Vitality. Everything in Lifelong Vitality was intentionally formulated to give your body the nutrients it needs to function optimally and support your immune system. There has even been research done on Lifelong Vitality. My favorite study, evaluating the health and benefits of Lifelong Vitality after 2 months, found that the participants had significant positive effects on biochemical indicators for cardiovascular health antioxidant stress, inflammatory response, and blood glucose levels. Better yet, participants reported overall well-being, mental clarity, energy, motivation, control, balance, and happiness, while reporting less discomfort, soreness, anxiousness, and frustration. Would any of you benefit from those right now? Proper nutrition really is powerful at supporting the body and promoting health. When you take the time to dig into the abundant research of the ingredients in lifelong vitality, you'll find studies and research showing their impact on the immune system. But the best research you can do is to take it for 30 days and see how you feel. Because at the end of the day, the only thing you need to know is what you eat impacts your immune system and how you feel. Lifelong Vitality gives your body the vitamins and minerals it needs to support healthy immune function. As a doctor, when patients ask me, what can they do? I tell them, take Lifelong Vitality every day as part of their healthcare plan. Lifelong Vitality is the world's best supplement to your healthy diet to give your body just the right amount of vitamins and minerals it needs each and every day to build a foundation of health and wellness and giving your immune system the tools to do exactly what it was designed to do. Provide protection and support your lifelong energy, vitality, and health. Doctor's orders.
It turns out that just having the essential oil bottles on your shelf doesn't help. Since osmosis won't save you here, it's important to establish a routine. The good news is that this can be incredibly simple and will bring you the results you're looking for. Before we close the day, I wanted to bring all this together and ask some of your most common questions to a couple of doctors and a nurse who hear and answer these for patients in their practice. Dr. Brannick Riggs, our Vice President of Healthcare Initiatives, and Ann Shipley, one of our nurse practitioners at doTERRA Prime Meridian Healthcare. We also have Dr. Catherine Iga Phillips, our newest member of the Medical Advisory Board.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
When it comes to supporting a healthy immune system, what are some of your favorite products that work well paired with Onguard?
Well, taken internally, oregano is great for immune support, but if you put it in your mouth, you know it's pretty strong. It's a hot oil, so I would recommend putting a drop or two in a veggie cap. It's also incredibly potent, so only taking 1 or 2 drops will be enough.
Additionally, there's frankincense, the king of oils. Frankincense has many uses due to its broad spectrum of chemistry, which means it can be used in a myriad of ways, topically, aromatically, and internally. Frankincense is an amazing oil to take daily to keep your immune system strong, your cellular function optimal, and your body feeling great.
Tea tree oil is a cleansing powerhouse. You can use it to clean surfaces, you can gargle with it, add it to your toothbrush, massage it down the spine, diffuse it. Tea tree is so versatile.
Lemon essential oil is another one that can be used in several different ways. When taken internally, it can support healthy respiratory function and act as a natural cleanser. And because it's refreshing and delicious, it's really easy to add to your water as a great flavoring to make getting your recommended water intake enjoyable.
Dr. Kate, you shared about rejuvenating your immune system and how that's so important. Can you tell us what oils are best to do for that?
Yes, definitely. So I really love highlighting lavender for this purpose. I love lavender because it's already an incredibly versatile oil in and of itself, but it's really beneficial to the immune system for a couple of reasons. So lavender is a good oil to use at bedtime because it actually has a very relaxing aroma, and this aroma can be used to create an environment to help you get the restorative sleep that we all need. And lavender is also commonly used internally for quieting the mind and for reducing anxious feelings as well. So I'm always teaching about how stress and sleep are both very important contributing factors for supporting immunity. And then lavender oil just has an abundance of cleansing properties that are often overlooked.
Dr. Riggs, what doTERRA products do you recommend to support gut health for a strong immune system?
As you might imagine, we would go to PB Assist Plus for adults and PB Assist Junior for kids. It's one of the best ways to support our gut-associated lymphoid tissue. As we have better gut health, we have better immune health. Other products such as enteric-coated peppermint can also support keeping strong integrity of the gut wall. This in turn keeps the appropriate separation of our internal system and the items traveling through the tube of the GI tract.
Right off, I recommend the Digesten products. The oil blend aids digestion and soothes occasional stomach upset. And Digesten Terrazyme provides fantastic digestive enzymes, which helps your body convert nutrients to energy. Then the turmeric dual chamber capsules, which help support your immune system's natural defenses. Zendocrine is the detoxification blend. The whole line is very supportive of the body's ability to rid itself of unwanted substances, and DDR Prime manages healthy cellular activity and stimulates the body's immune functions. And of course, you can't go wrong with the doTERRA Onguard soft gels.
So that's a lot of things to take internally. In your experience, when is it best to use Onguard internally, topically, or aromatically, Anne?
I think it's best used regularly in all three ways because it offers most comprehensive support. You can be diffusing Onguard around your home, using it to cleanse the surfaces, applying it topically daily. You can be adding it to your teas, foods, snacks, etc. You especially want to use Onguard soft gels when you like to give your immune system an extra boost.
Onguard oil in our home is often used daily during times of seasonal threats, just as Dr. Kay has talked about in her home. We will apply to the bottom of our feet before putting shoes on in the morning, and then also diffuse it throughout the day.
Is there a limit to how much Onguard I should be taking internally?
You know, generally speaking, you don't want to go higher than 24 drops of essential oil per day, and that includes the essential oils in our supplements as well. Of course, with any substance, we need to be aware that the difference between a beneficial substance and a wasteful or unsafe substance is going to be dosage. Eucalyptus oil has been reported in literature to have some significant side effects with internal use. However, that usage is in such large quantities that we're unlikely to reach that level systemically with taking Onguard as directed. You can take 1 to 3 drops of Onguard every 4 to 6 hours for up to 3 weeks. If you're taking the soft gels, take 2 to 3 each day.
So Brannick mentioned earlier about putting lemon in your water as you drink that. And do you put lemon in your water daily?
I've had good experiences with lemon balancing pH levels when it comes to stomach upsets, as well as supporting elimination pathways in the body. So I'd say regular use is helpful to improve and maintain balance.
Dr. Kay, can you tell us the difference between lemon juice and lemon oil in water?
Absolutely. So basically, if you're looking to increase vitamin C or potassium or citric acid in your body, then the fresh lemon is going to be the way to go. However, the peel of the lemon is where the essential oil is extracted from. And the peel is where the nutrients are most densely packed and contains a lot of components that help with healthy digestion, that offer uplifting aromas, that promote healthy cellular function throughout our entire body. So the peel, another benefit is that it's not as acidic as the rest of the lemon, so you don't have to be worried about the risk it would pose to your teeth enamel. And then another very obvious, pro to the oil is that it's much more convenient, right? So I personally use the lemon essential oil throughout most of the year, and then I reserve the fresh acidic fruit itself for when I'm doing a more short-term cleanse.
I would agree with you definitely on that convenience. Lemon oil is a lot easier to take around with me than my knife and the lemons and cut them up every time I'm taking a drink of water. So that's a great tip. Thank you, Dr. Kay. So what are some of the best ways to use Onguard products for our children?
Well, just like for adults, internal use of oil has powerful effects. This is true for children, but they just don't need as much. If children are under the age of 6, I'd recommend that they use Onguard beadlets instead of Onguard plus soft gels. If over the age of 6 and able to swallow capsules, then 1 Onguard soft gel per day when needed would be recommended. Teenagers can take 1 to 2 capsules daily, and adults 2 to 3 capsules daily.
With school having started, it's important to keep our kids using good hygiene practices and incorporating essential oils for added benefits. There are a variety of ways to incorporate Onguard into our day. Washing your hands with Onguard soap regularly, of course. I personally love the foaming soaps and we use it every day. You can apply the oil blends topically to the feet at bedtime while the body rests, recovers, and is restored. I recommend diffusing it throughout the day to help cleanse the air. This isn't a complete list, just a few things that I wanted to get you guys thinking with. Even if your school is virtual or you're doing home study, it's important to have a routine as well. Good sleep, proper nutrition are fundamental blocks for all children, and then adding on the essential oils as needed. Use your intuitions as parents to address the needs of your children and make sure that each day at least one oil is applied topically with your touch.
Dr. Riggs, if you could recommend people start with just one oil for their immune system, what would it be?
Onguard, no question about that. This is far and away the key immune system oil. So if you're only going to use one, that's the one I recommend.
And Anne, what are some of the ways that you recommend using Purify in your home and in your cleaning?
Well, Purify is a perfect name for its blend. It's one of my favorite blends to diffuse because it protects against environmental threats and purify odors in a completely natural way. Purify also makes a powerful surface cleanser. Just adding 5 to 6 drops to a spray bottle with water and Onguard cleanser concentrate in it, and you're ready to go.
Anne, thank you for that tip. That's so useful. Finally, Dr. Riggs, could you explain the difference between the Lifelong Vitality Pack and other more generic vitamins? Also, does it really matter if they're taken all at once or split up throughout the day?
I think you hit on a key thing in that question, generic vitamins. The care in which doTERRA took creating and formulating each vitamin in the Lifelong Vitality Pack is incredible and unmatched in any generic vitamin you are going to find on the shelf of a store. This is a group of vitamins that have been designed to support your body in the best, most efficient way possible. LLV gives your cells the micronutrients it needs. You can take them all at once. However, we usually recommend splitting your dose to take 6 capsules in the morning and 6 capsules in the evening. The supplements absorb better if taken with food, so take your LLV and then eat your breakfast or dinner afterwards.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today, Dr. Riggs, Anne, Dr. K. This has been phenomenal to gain so much insight. Using products every day and having a routine is so important. Instead of reaching for essential oils just when we're responding to threats, we use them all throughout our journey to strengthen and protect our bodies. My family uses Stronger, frankincense, and rose touch daily, and our Onguard hand sanitizer is just about in every bag for easy use throughout the day. Every one of us will have a different routine. My family's body boot camp, as we call it, is probably different than yours. The important thing is to find what works for you. You can take what you just learned and pick one oil to start with, then add on as you go. Dr. Riggs recommended starting with Onguard. To get more ideas on how you can use doTERRA products in your daily regimens, visit the doTERRA home. I mentioned at the beginning, we wanted to give you the knowledge so you can take back control of your health. A huge thank you to the experts who joined us today and gave us that valuable knowledge and practical application to do just that. The next 2 days, we will be learning about relieving discomfort and balancing mind and mood for a full well-being check-in and up-leveling. We have a really great day planned for you tomorrow. Starting with a look behind the bottle, we'll hear from our sourcing teams and partners from around the world and see how doTERRA is pursuing pure business practices in every link of the supply chain. Before we finish, remember to post a photo of yourself on social media using the hashtag doTERRAPursue2020. We'll be reaching out to you with a direct message if you're one of our winners. And now it's time to give away our biggest prizes yet. Stay on to participate in the immunity quiz for your chance to win. Don't worry, it's not hard. Just remember, protect, strengthen, and respond are the keys to your immunity, and you'll do great. Have a great night.
It's my privilege to address you for a few brief moments as we begin what I believe will be several opportunities for meaningful education. Now, it occurs to me that in today's world, health has become an adaptation to our changing needs, one that has individual definition and consequently one that requires, to whatever degree plausible, a more personalized approach to our care. Today, you and I are a part of more than 70% of the population who look to natural methods and products to improve some aspect of their health. We're also a member of more than 50% of the population who have used or are currently using essential oils. And we all know and understand that essential oils are the elixirs of aroma that entice us to smell a rose. And they're the reason peppermint has that distinctly refreshing, minty aroma. Essential oils are complex chemistry. They're extracted from roots, seeds, flowers, and other components of various plants. How you extract them, when you extract them, and the methods used to extract them are all variables profoundly affecting the individual chemistry of each oil. Now, if I could be bold for just a moment, I would tell you with great confidence, and maybe just a tiny bit of humility, that doTERRA does this better than anyone else in the entire world. Now, however, it's more than individual need which validates the acceptance of essential oils. It's by all standards an emerging science and a return to what was once well understood, accepted, and known to be effective. What we are experiencing is a convergence of history and modern healthcare, and it's resulted in an evolving image of health. When we first started doTERRA 12 years ago, it was just us as the founders. We were overflowing with enthusiasm and had an unstoppable energy in our little group because of the impact we wanted to make in the world. The roles we played then, in many ways, are very different from what is required of us now. We are all still actively involved in pushing forward the mission and vision of doTERRA, but we are no longer working alone. We are members of an astonishing group, a group of talented and skilled individuals. Now, I wish to thank each of you and express our appreciation to you because this group includes each of you as we work collectively to bring about much good in the world. I also personally wish to thank the many scientists, physicians, chemists, biologists, botanists, and the many others who work so diligently to help us accomplish our greater purpose. It's my pleasure to work with them directly. They are dedicated, and I consider them to be friends and confidants in every regard. Now I'm pleased because you'll have the opportunity to hear from many of them over the course of the following few days. I express my great confidence in them, and I invite you to do likewise. With our collective focus on science, a continued dedication to purity and quality standards, and a commitment to working with healthcare, I believe we can empower individuals and families to reclaim their health and vitality. Certified pure, therapeutic-grade essential oils are progressively becoming an indispensable component of what I call health redefined. It is evident that personalized and self-directed care is an expectation had by most and may very well be defining the future of accepted health practices. I hope you'll join with me and join with us and the people throughout the world in experiencing the healthy attributes provided through these gifts of the earth known as essential oils. Welcome as we gather together now to learn more. Now, it's also my honor to introduce the U.S. General Manager, Sarah Marie Smith. I've known Sarah Marie for many years, and I find her to be a strong advocate for the use of pure therapeutic-grade essential oils. Her dedication to doTERRA and the mission of empowering through essential oils is rivaled, in my opinion, by very few. That devotion does not end at the doors of our beautiful campus, but fills her home as she cares for her 3 very active little boys. Sarah Marie, take us away.
So you want to learn more about epigenetics? Let's talk molecular biology. The scientific definition of epigenetics is the study of heritable phenotype changes that don't involve alterations in the DNA sequence. What does that mean exactly? It's the study of changes in how our genes are expressed. Our DNA itself doesn't change, but how, when, and how much we express it can change dramatically. So how do epigenetics work? Imagine your DNA like a long, twisted up string. For those of you old enough to remember telephone cords, think about one of those stretched out. This is like your DNA. On this string of DNA, there are typically different markers or tags added based on cues from our lifestyle or environment. Things like our stress management, diet, sleep schedule, and physical activity. One of the most common ways to tag the DNA is to add what's called a methyl group. You can think of this like dropping a pin on the string of DNA to mark a certain gene or set of genes. The function of these methyl groups is where epigenetics gets really interesting. Some types of methylation turn genes off or down, and sometimes this tagging turns genes on or up. After tags have been added to the DNA, special proteins scan up and down, and they read these tags. These scanning proteins are part of the system that then either ignores the gene and doesn't translate it, or begins the process of translating our genes into proteins. This is really the meat of epigenetics. Now, we're picturing the methyl tags on the DNA strand itself, but that's not all that happens. Imagine how a phone cord would look wrapped around a spool like thread. Similarly, in our bodies, DNA wraps around special proteins called histones. The DNA wraps around the histones, and then groups of histones wrap more and more tightly around each other. This is how DNA is typically stored, very condensed. Histones are also an important part of epigenetics because it turns out they can have their own tags. Some tags tell the histones to remain tightly bound, causing the DNA to be unavailable for translation. Others tell the histones to uncurl so that specific bits of DNA can be translated. Now, besides tagging different parts of the DNA or histones, the tags themselves can also be different. We mentioned methylation or methyl tags, but there's also acetylation, ubiquitination, citrullination, and phosphorylation. That's a lot of ations. Depending on their pattern and where they're located, these tags all convey important messages to the translation machinery. At the heart of epigenetics is protein production. DNA is transcribed to RNA, which is then translated into protein. Different tags on the starting DNA lead to different proteins being created. We're made up of different types of proteins, some estimates as high as several billion types, according to researchers. It's our exact mixture of proteins that makes each of us unique. And it's our ability to rapidly change types and amounts of proteins made from our DNA that allow us to adapt to specific environments. For example, think of people who live at very high altitudes. Their epigenetic modifications allow them to live in conditions with less oxygen. Their protein content is different from someone living down at sea level. Or think about those who live in extreme cold or heat. Their epigenetic modifications encourage the translation of genes that adapt them to their environment and help them survive. Protein content is different for someone living in a temperate climate, and really any climate. So where do essential oils come in? Although we still have a lot of research to do, science suggests that even the things we smell can contribute to our epigenetic modifications. We know that smells are often closely associated with memory, which can bring positive feelings and lower stress when used purposefully. When used internally, essential oils can also act like many phytonutrients in healthy foods and encourage our bodies toward healthy states. Research suggests that these substances encourage epigenetic expression of traits that support the vitality of your body. Essential oils have been part of the human diet since the dawn of our species. We eat them in herbs, spices, fruits, vegetables. it makes sense that certain epigenetic traits have been passed down through the centuries. In 1868, biologist Thomas Huxley wrote about humankind as having a singular inward laboratory in which the molecules of life are in flux, being fueled by what we eat and changed by influences that scientists had yet to understand. Today, we know much more about DNA and the epigenetic influences that yield myriad proteins. But there's still so much to learn about this singular inward laboratory. The idea that we are just so much more than the genes with which we were born. The idea that we can shape who we are through conscious choices about nutrition, sleep, stress, exercise, and our environment. This idea is so empowering. Our nature, our DNA, is just one part of who we are. We can't blame our parents for everything. Our nurture, epigenetics, is really our ability to become our best selves. I, for one, am glad to have essential oils that create a soothing or uplifting environment, oils that help support good sleep, stress management, digestion, metabolism, and healthy immunity. I think the more science uncovers about DNA and epigenetic modifications, the more we will realize just how powerful essential oils can be.